Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 46. I am Erik Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hello.
Hi there.
It is officially the hottest day we've ever done a podcast here.
Yeah, in the middle of September.
Yeah, I've never had both doors shut and the fans running inside.
This is
always,
true.
always the doors are open,
Yeah.
but it's 8 or 9 degrees hotter outside.
It's quite bad. So
it's really terrible.
checkmate global warming deniers.
But we have icy cold beer. Of course,
it's
we are
quickly warming up.
Well, I gave you a koozie, I thought. Oh, there's a koozie right there.
No, it's not a matter of the koozie. It's just a matter of the atmosphere.
Oh, okay.
If you have ice cold beer and you're on the surface of the sun, it's gonna get hot real quick.
That's true, but you could stem the temperature increase by using a koozie, which is on the table. I mean, you look way fancier too, so.
Koozie and fancy. Okay.
Yep. Anyway. Yeah, so we're drinking Nordies, nothing special. We haven't done a new fancy beer in a while just because we did a bunch of fancy beers at the beginning of the MotorCult podcast and just haven't gone beer shopping, so.
Yeah, basically.
It's a good drinkable standby on a very, very hot day.
Yes, and actually, speaking of beer, and today was the Oktoberfest car show at the other Motorplex.
Indeed, the new Medina location. They did have beer,
is-
but you had to go wait in line to buy a ticket and then go wait in another line to exchange that ticket for a beer. So very few people had beers.
Yeah, it was kind of a bum show. I
That
think.
show, I wasn't terribly impressed. When
Right.
it was down here at Chanhassen, it was pretty great.
Yeah, no, I loved it down here, but it's no that I think that location. We've said before in the podcast.
Yeah.
We've been talking with Scott and everything that the location of the show matters than the actual cars,
Of course.
and that is a perfect example because that was
Yep.
about as awful as a location as.
And it was
that.
pretty well attended too. Right when I got there, like it was swarming, but like the rate at which people get bored and leave, and you have to attribute a little bit of that to the heat, but not much.
It was at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Like by noon, it was getting to a point where it's kind of uncomfortable.
Right.
But like 9 o'clock in the morning, it was perfect. It was fine.
And this show was 9 to noon, and by the time I left at 11 something,
Yeah, about
it was-
11:15.
it
That's when we
was
arrived.
Pretty
It
much
was-
done.
Yeah, that was some of those things. Well, I mean, the rule of thumb whenever you go to a show is if the show says it's 9 to noon,
Yeah.
it really is 9 to like 10:45, 11.
Right.
Like any show.
and I was gonna say it's probably more like 8:30 or 8
Yeah.
to whatever at the end too.
Yeah,
These people come super early.
Yeah,
for their
exactly.
Show.
Come early, leave early. But yeah, no, that show
Sounds like a personal problem.
that show. But no, I think it had some cool stuff. Like there was
Well, it had great cars.
there
It had
was,
a 959 and had a Z8.
Did you see the green? I think it was a 380 SL manual with AMG wheels.
No,
It was
actually.
an R107 with manual.
That's pretty
very
cool.
cool.
Yeah, 380
Um,
manuals are super rare.
Yeah, and then there was there were two very very cool Audi Quattro coupes.
Yep, I saw the yellow
Yep,
one.
the yellow one and there's a white one next to it.
Okay, that one wasn't there when I got there.
Okay, yeah, there's a white one next to it later on. There was the really pretty black M5 with almost like a John Player special livery because it had like the gold pinstripe on it. That
Yep.
looked really good.
That one
I
was
liked
actually
a
at
lot.
Light Up the Night too.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And yeah, that was about it for what was there. That was really jazzing. Jana was like really about a Z8 that was there. She
I love
really
the
likes
Z8.
those. I think
Yeah.
after Car Week, she like decided that's her favorite Z car, probably
They're
BMW Z car. She said it looks like a Carmen Ghia. Yeah.
It-
It kind of does actually. I get it. Like the front end, the super
Yeah.
pointy front end. Like
I could see that.
she said that at first. I'm like, and then when we left, that was behind me in traffic. I'm like,
Ooh.
I see that. I
Yeah.
can get it. There's also McLaren whatever.
Yeah,
which
we
I
were.
don't care about.
I met up with a ton of people out there, and we were standing right across from the McLaren because that's where Harold was parked when he was there.
Yeah.
With his 928, which was lovely, and everyone was just cracking jokes like, "I didn't know McLaren was German." And then it had like air conditioning condensate dripping from underneath it. I'm like, "Ooh, looks like it's leaking coolant." That's typical German build quality there. I don't know. It was super weird to see a McLaren at a German car show.
It's funny. Like months after Car Week, I'm still like, I cannot even give a shit about
See,
McLaren.
I know how technically capable those cars are, and I appreciate that. But I mean, even from the get-go with the MP412C, the new gen McLarens, I'm just like,
They
I
weren't-
just don't care.
No, they don't do it for me.
No, like it. Yeah, if you want to have a really good time at a track, that's a good car. But just other than that, just stay away from me.
Yeah, I was really upset because it was blocking the view of all the cool cars leaving behind us. I was
Yeah.
like, this is too big. I can't see anything. And it wasn't even like, so sometimes I just let supercars like be because they have some really cool colors.
Sure.
And that's like fun. I like seeing all the fun colors. But
But
this
you can
one,
tell that the owner of that car is like banking on the fact that most people are like, oh, well, it's a supercar. I guess we'll let it in.
yeah. And it was just this blue that you would see on new, like a
Like a
brand
Chevy
new
Cobalt.
Volkswagen. Yeah, a Chevy Cobalt. Like, it was just this such basic blue. It wasn't even like a World Rally blue.
I
where
hope
it's
that
a
the
little
color is actually
interesting.
called basic blue. That
It
would be
basically
great.
is.
Yeah,
It's nothing special.
It was like the blue of your lift. It was just like
Yeah.
such a typical
Yeah,
blue.
the rotary lift blue. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. For the audio listeners, in fact, for every listener, really, it is. Yeah, just picture a rotary lift.
Yeah, you
Take
know
away the yellow,
brand,
and
the
there you
brand
go.
rotary lift. It's that color blue.
Yep.
No, really, the people that own those, like the McLaren 570s or whatever they are,
Yeah.
it's like the same group of people that used to own Ferrari 360s
Yep.
and have, like, their dad probably owns, like, a C5 or a C6 Corvette, and then their, like, lawyer brother probably has, like, a 997, like, automatic.
I picture mid to late 40s and up, really washed out, tight belted but too large of waisted jeans
Yep.
with white tennis shoes, a t-shirt, and some glasses.
Yeah.
That's who I picture the average McLaren owner as being.
I don't know, I imagine them to be, like, they're probably younger, but they're more, like... They care more about like flexing on people
Oh, yeah.
than they do, because I wonder if like
There's probably two different demographics.
I really wonder if McLaren has like some like lucrative financing or something.
like not subprime, you know what I mean?
No, but like
a
more affordable
special
financing. Like,
financing?
there has to be like some sort of financing deal, because there's no way that it's not that good of a car.
No,
And,
but
like,
yeah, like if they got the financing, like that's $1,600 a month.
the Audi R8, that's another car.
Yeah,
That's
those you can straight up buy for like not that much.
But I mean, like that's the thing is like the McLaren, like at this point, it's just taken like it's the replacement for the R8s and 360s, and you know the ones where if you see it in traffic on a normal day, you're like, that's cool. You go to a car show and you literally cannot care,
yeah,
because I walked past that. I walked past that McLaren without even batting an eyelash.
yeah.
I
I walked past those like I walked past Nissan Maximas.
Yeah, but then I saw a 930 Speedster and I saw a Mark 1 Rabbit GTI. That actually got me excited. Like
Yep.
those are cool.
Yeah, because
But-
you don't see them every car show,
Yeah, like
and they're German.
yeah, it's true. But I mean, I think more importantly, it's just the fact that you don't see them everywhere.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think yeah, this show I guess it was all right. It wasn't as good as last year's.
I don't really want to fault the organizers too much. I mean,
No.
they had all the elements that they've always had down here. But
It's just the
that
location.
venue, man.
It was 100% location.
I mean, you get into like the completed aisle or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is fine, nice quality buildings, whatever. And then you look to your right, and there's
a dirty field.
500 feet of flat elevation and then corn.
Yeah.
And I was telling,
It's like when we went to that
Harold
Cars and
and
Coffee.
Jake.
It's like when we went to that Cars and Coffee in Kansas or whatever.
yeah.
Like it's
I honestly think it's less flat in Kansas, which is saying
that's
something.
actually true. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually liked the Stonegate Motor Plaza layout better.
I just don't ever want to go back.
But
there.
I was telling the people that I was with, I mean, the main reason I'm not going to say I dislike the Medina facility, because I'm glad it's there. I mean, it's more
It's
high-end car
Yeah,
garages.
and the garages
but-
are beautiful.
Oh, but they are. I mean, the people that got lured out there earlier are the big money. They're the people that just like, oh, let's just do this and throw a bunch of money into it. Or they're the people that live geographically really close to there,
Yeah.
which I get. But the area around there is not protected land. That's going to get turned into high-density housing. It just will happen because it's
Yeah.
happening like crazy out there.
Mm-hmm.
So
then you're
in
have to-
10 years' time, when all of that is developed townhomes, you're going to have nothing to look at except the kids riding their bikes. You're going to have really cranky neighbors
Yep.
just filing noise complaints like crazy, and your property values are, well, I don't know if it's really going to diminish from that. Probably not, but just like I
No,
don't
it's just-
want that. When I look out the window here, I see nothing but wetland, which legally cannot be built on and forever.
Which is great.
And
yeah.
I mean, it would be stupid to build on wetland
Right.
anyway.
You're right. Oh, yeah, of course. You'd have to put pilings like 75 feet deep just to make it stand.
Just look at Mexico City.
Badoom.
Yeah. No, actually, Mexico City has a really serious problem with like all their buildings falling over.
So does LA.
Yeah. But anyway.
But
Yeah.
I know if I still have this unit, hopefully I do, like 50 years from now, that view will be identical to what it is right now.
yeah. I
And
think
it's awesome view.
Yeah, it's a great view.
The Medina location, it just doesn't do it for me. I mean, like, I feel like you can build something like that in a more urbanized or even suburban area.
Yeah.
But I think that it just doesn't work there. It's just, it doesn't do it for me.
It feels like they had a plan set up for a really nice facility, and then they just found some land somewhere.
Yep, that's exactly how it feels. It's not a very special location.
It's not a
at all.
deliberate location choice.
No,
it just isn't.
It's
Maybe
really.
they built it there because it's so close to Medicine Lake and there's a lot of money around
Well, I
there.
mean-
That's why Bruno was trying to lure my dad into buying a unit out there to store his boat.
Did
Perfect.
I was wondering,
Not doing it.
are the locations there slightly cheaper or
Much more expensive.
more expensive?
You guys were walking through, so you
Yeah.
like the single garage door, single deep units.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of those unfinished is $375,000.
That's almost twice as much.
That's 25 grand more than we
yeah.
spent for
That's
this one.
like
Well, I mean, how much-
three-quarters of
And
my
this is finished.
Yeah.
parents' house.
It's more than twice what I spent in my house. Yeah. So
That's-
is this. Well, actually,
Yeah.
this is almost exactly twice.
That's 100% not worth it.
No, and you have to finish it after
No,
that.
that's
I
really
mean,
not
they-
worth
but
it.
they are bigger. I mean, one of those single units
I
is
get
the
that.
same square footage as this, basically. This is 1,920 square feet here.
Well, you know, like, I don't know. I look at it this way. You know what's bigger and more expensive than something else?
What?
A fully loaded Toyota Sienna is bigger and more expensive than a Toyota FRS or BRZ.
Oh, my God.
And actually, that was a completely... I did not mean to make that to a segue, but as to say...
Well, we could rearrange this if you want to use
no,
it as
no.
a
I mean,
segue.
I guess we could if you want, but I want to
It
talk
doesn't
about
matter to me.
about your dealership experiences first.
Well, I mean,
but-
it doesn't really matter. You can go right on to BRZ. I can touch
Well,
on that.
no,
afterwards.
it's totally okay. But I want to say it's one of those things where bigger and more expensive is not always better,
Right.
because yeah, you can get bigger and better, but if you're in an area where you have nothing to look at and it's really not that special,
Yeah.
like I would much rather, I would rather own a smaller house
That's the thing.
in like on a California Canyon Road
Yeah.
than I would to have a giant mansion in the middle of Nebraska.
It's like buying a brand new cookie cutter 3,000 square foot home for
Yep.
150 grand in Medina versus buying a 110-year-old slightly
Exactly.
smaller home in a built-out, characterized, population-dense, good access neighborhood
Yeah.
of St.
Yeah.
Paul.
That's exactly what it is. It really is that.
Medina is very much the suburban mentality, and unfortunately or fortunately for them, that's who is buying out there. I mean, they're the
No, it's-
people
I mean,
that
it's good
bought
for them.
those houses.
I'm happy that they have more garages like this, and
Yeah.
I feel there is a there is a market for people like that. It's just-
Absolutely.
I'm
They
not,
will
I'm
sell
not, I'm
out.
not. I'm not that market.
But
And
how do you think? Okay, here's a question. In 10 years' time, when that place is fully sold out, fully built out, what do you think is going to happen to like that place for car shows? Do you think people are going to go out of their way to host shows there over
no,
here?
No, absolutely not.
Do you think their property values are going to go up at the same rate as
No.
they will here?
No.
I don't think so. To either
No,
of
but I mean,
those.
like that's just how Medina is. But I mean, that's the thing is, there is a market for people that live in Medina,
yeah, for sure.
and yeah, that's
It's
just
close
what
to
it
Lake
is.
Minnetonka too. I mean, to Orono
Yeah.
and stuff, like it's pretty close. I get it.
That's gonna be like for somebody that lives in Buffalo or something. If they have a classic car they want to store, Medina's perfect for them.
Yep.
But I don't know. It's just not for me.
The world
I
needs
think
more
it's
motorplexes.
a good location for a motorplex for the people that live out there, but
Yeah.
it's not a good location for car shows.
Right.
Or-
yeah, for what it's being touted as, which
Yeah.
is the new motorplex. Like, no,
No.
it's just the regional one for those people.
Yeah.
That's
And it-
exactly that.
Like one of the things that I look at when there's a location for, a car show, like one of the reasons why I like it here is when you drive in, you cannot see every car from the spectator parking. You have to walk around in order to see the cars.
That's the thing. It was almost overwhelming driving into the show today. I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, I better park in spectator because I could see. I mean, there aren't that many spaces.
What
You
I
could
like
just
about
see
every car
everything.
there.
what I
yeah.
like about this location is every corner you turn when you're going to a car show here, there's something new to see.
Yeah.
Like I
Like
remember
the fire
back,
truck on our way in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a very lovely vintage fire truck parked outside.
but it
randomly.
was like during Cars and Coffee when it was actually hosted here. It's
Yeah.
like I'll turn a corner and then there's Mercedes 500e, and then I'll turn another corner and it's like a Mitsubishi GTO Spider. And
It's like
then-
miniature brand specific car shows all together.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that's really cool.
And and Medina will get better because right now it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it's like 20% built out, so you can see everything. Eventually, that won't be the case. I mean, you will have to walk
I feel
around
like it
and do
will get better. I'm
It
not.
will
I'm not
definitely
gonna
get better.
Yeah, I'm not gonna blast them, but
Again, the build out and how they laid it out is really good.
Yeah.
It
It's
is,
just
but
the
like
location.
the like just throw a dart at a map land placement that kind of irks me.
Yeah, that's
Because
exactly what it
Medina
is.
has a lot of good rolling hill land. Like you could have built something really beautiful, like 7
Yeah.
or 8 blocks further off the highway.
Oh yeah, because like
Yeah.
where your parents live,
Like,
it
bunch
has
of
some
horse land
really
out there, too.
interesting
Yeah.
area.
Well,
like,
that's
we saw a
that's
chicken-
medicine.
Oh, that's technically
Well, still,
Medicine
it's-
Lake,
but it's 11 miles from there. I mean, it's geographically in the grand scheme of things, it's close.
Yeah.
What Berger said is true because back when I was driving the IX,
Yeah.
yeah, we drove back.
took the back
Yeah,
roads.
we took some back roads, and
And a lot of the
that's
roads are
really
like that.
actually really good driving roads. So like that'd be that's a very very cool area.
Right. Even back where we took that turn onto the gravel road, like that would have been way better.
Yeah,
And
no,
there's
that's way cooler.
free range chicken farms, which are really fun.
Gianna likes chickens.
I love chicken.
You know, I hadn't put 2 and 2 together, so I'm glad you said something.
So Berger, tell me
Yep.
about dealership
Okay.
experiences.
Throwing together stuff, just going through it. So this last week, I've dealt with 2 independent dealers, and it made me want to talk about it a little bit. So have you guys ever bought a car from a dealer?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you
Sort of.
worked for one, so
Yeah,
it's kind of the other side. But
Yeah.
but you've talked to a lot of
I-
dealers.
Well, the thing is, when I bought a car from a dealer,
Yeah.
although I worked at a dealer, it was from our sister's store, so I was
Okay.
still technically just a customer.
Did you have to deal with a salesman?
Kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I deal with the sales manager, but
I have been to a lot of dealerships with people buying cars, but I have not personally bought a
I
car
did-
from a
you
dealership.
still-
But I've
you've heard the-
experienced
I
it. Yeah.
back
got
and
very
forth
close
and
to
stuff.
buying a Yaris.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, except for
It was a
Well,
terrible, terrible sales.
tell your story first, and then
Okay.
we'll tell you
Well, I mean,
why we didn't buy a Yaris.
I have stories too, but like this week, okay, so I've been shopping for an E39 BMW M5, 2000 to 2003 M5,
Makes
just to
sense.
add to the collection.
No, it makes sense with
Great car.
with how they are in the market. Like,
Right.
I would,
They're-
if
they're
I had the
about to
money for one,
explode.
I would
Yeah.
totally pick one up right now.
So I ended up buying one, not from a dealer, but the main reason I didn't buy one from a dealer, my number one contender car that I was planning to buy was at a dealership in Michigan. And after phone calls, text messages, and emails, the guy got slowly more and more unresponsive. And he refused to take like a video of it being started in the morning cold. Just like I need to know
What?
that to know if the engine needs like Vano stuff and all that kind of stuff. It's like, oh sure, no problem, and then doesn't do it. So eventually he just stopped responding to me. I'm like, well, I guess I'll go on to choice 2, which was a private party. When I dealt with the private party, he responded to every one of my messages. He sent me every photo and video I requested. He allowed my friend to come check it out and drive it. And he's really easy to deal with as far as just negotiating and price.
Yeah.
So the last time I had a truly good dealership experience was probably either the FJ or the Ferrari. Those were the only 2 times I actually had a salesman that was with me from initial inquiry to time of purchase, actually sent me the information I wanted and was willing to barter. Every other time, it's hard to get a hold of a person. You get handed off to somebody else. They can't barter. When you get there, asking ahead of time if all of your paperwork is done so it's a quick in and out and it becomes a 3-hour pickup ordeal. It's just like, why does anyone buy a car from a dealer?
So, all right, this is the thing. Coming from a dealership perspective, there's a few things I want to lay out here.
Okay.
As a salesperson, fuck bartering. If I have a customer that barters, I will actively try to find anybody else to work with. It's not anything against you or the person that
I
barters.
just come
'cause
at him with my price.
I barter as well, but I don't want to waste my time. When I can find somebody that will get me the money I'm gonna make from that
Sure.
sale,
But you just go ahead and tell that person, like, we don't bargain.
yeah, I do.
That's fine.
Yeah,
My dealer people don't tell me this.
yeah, no, I do straight up. Like,
And that's Maury's thing.
yeah, that
Right.
You walk into Moore's, you know that
Yeah.
you're not and that's
It
actually
says it in pretty clear print.
that is part of why I started when I decided I wanted to try out car sales.
Yeah.
That's how I went to Maury's.
Sure.
Because they didn't barter. But yeah, first off, there's that. Second off, I mean, coming from the salesperson's perspective, you're a dude from out of state.
Yeah.
You're probably just yanking his chain. Like, I can get where he's coming from because I've had a few situations like that.
Right. And I'm not on that side of the equation, so I don't know how many call-ins there.
Yeah, I had 2 people that were in your situation. I helped
Sure.
out. Both of them ghosted me. So it's like,
Did
most
they
of the
start off
people-
with like a, hey, is this available? Or did they start off with a laundry list of
Laundry
really
list.
specific
there were
questions?
2 people with laundry list questions. One was on a Golf R,
Okay.
and then the other one was on some weird it was a Legacy GT wagon with a manual.
Nice.
So both those people started out being really honest, as 100%, legit with them. I answered all their questions, did everything I could, sent them videos and everything, ghosted me.
Great.
So that I get where that salesperson's coming from. That it wasn't Legacy GT. It was actually Suzuki SX4.
Okay.
With a manual.
I gotcha.
So it's actually
pretty uncommon car.
Yeah, very uncommon, very cool. But yeah, no, both those people ended up ghosting me. It's one of those things as a salesperson.
Well, I mean, I kind of get
it's
it
a whole nother world.
from both perspectives. God, whole nother.
But anyway, but no,
But they're probably talking to like 10 dealers.
Yeah, and that's
Same
the
questions.
thing. Yeah. And
So I get it on both sides. I do.
however, as
But
a
how
car
does it-
salesperson,
Yeah.
you gotta do that. Like that's why I quit doing that, because I didn't want to do that crap. Like,
Well, I
if
mean,
you're
how does a
not-
private party seller handle that? Is it just because as a dealership sales rep, you have to do it for a bunch of cars all at the same time?
Yeah, basically. While you're dealing with this guy's got 8 trillion questions to get this one car sale where you're gonna make like it's a used kind of budget car to them.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna make say $150 off that car sale.
Sure.
And then you got people walking in the door that want to buy a brand new car, and they're going to finance, and they're
Yeah.
going to get the rust proofing, and they're going to do all this shit.
You got to get that true quote.
And then
They
suddenly,
apply that at the factory.
your $150 payment that you're getting from
Yeah.
this guy that's making you bust your balls.
Yeah.
You're gonna let that guy sit and spin for a minute while you help this other person out that you're gonna get $550.
But that's like a bigger dealership conglomerate mentality.
that's any dealership, dude.
Small
Like,
dealerships aren't
small
quite the same way.
Small dealers are even like worse because then you're paid off of commission. Entirely
Yeah, but they
based
also
off
usually buy
commission.
auction cars.
That's true, but I mean, still, that's the thing. Is like you're gonna small dealerships, they pay worse. To be honest.
They do, but they also pay way less for their vehicles, so their
Yeah.
margin has a lot more room to work.
Yeah, and that doesn't affect the salesperson at all.
Right.
So that salesperson, they're gonna get paid a certain commission based off of the
Right.
car, and that dealership, yeah, they will make more. They will make
Sure.
more money,
But I feel like if you offer like a legitimate short sale, like I'm going to ask you the questions. I'm going to basically tell you straight up that like I'm very interested in the car. I just want the answers to these questions, and then I will have to pay less to buy your car than you're asking.
Yeah.
And if the person just says sorry, we don't borrow, then I move on. It's fine. But like trying to get that stuff out of the way so you're not wasting either party's time is pretty much impossible.
I sold a GC, like a 98 or so Outback Sport. So
Okay.
a lifted up
Yep.
Impreza wagon.
Also
And-
uncommon.
Very, very cool car, manual as well. And no, I had a person like you, and this is one where he was local though. Like, he's coming from I think Waverly or something.
Sure.
And he had like 800 questions. I'm like, first off, we don't barter. Here's a video of the car running. Here it is driving. Here's the spots where there's rust. Here's the spots where it normally rusts, where it's not rusty. There you go. It's X amount of money, take it or leave it. Our sales tax is this. It might change based off being in a different county. I don't know what your credit rating is,
Yep.
so I don't know what you're gonna be paying. But this is how it looks. You're gonna have to expect to spend about 3 or 4 hours in financing because there is also just legal shit that gets in the way. We have to
Yeah.
do a background check on you. We have to do
No,
all these
with
other
financing,
things.
absolutely.
So with
that
that
I
guy,
anticipate.
he was like, "All right, cool." Came by the next day, picked it up, and like I knew what to expect. He knew
Yep.
what to expect.
Yep.
You really have to set expectations as a salesperson.
With
That's
financing, it's so tough
Yeah.
to like tell people ahead of time what to expect, though. I mean, I'm a cash buyer, so I never have that worry.
Yeah.
And like, I think dealers sometimes appreciate that, but like,
You
when I buy a
get
car-
more money as a cash buyer. That I'm gonna say that does
Sure.
make the salesperson less likely to deal with bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Because honestly, if you finance, even if you finance, you get a super short term loan, and you just pay off the loan immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, honestly, it helps your credit and it helps the salesperson because
Pay it off too quickly, it does not help your credit.
Well, it paid off in a year, quickly.
Mhm.
It
a
helps your
year is
credit,
okay.
yeah.
Yes. Yep.
So, but I mean, like with the salesperson,
Mhm.
they also get paid based off financing. That was actually my biggest thing. I get paid. Financing made more of a difference for what I got paid than anything else in a car. It was
But that's in dealership financing with
Yeah.
whatever.
no. I
lender
mean,
you use.
that's with like used car going to RCU, like.
So if a
as-
person
as long
comes
as-
in with their own pre-approval, you make more.
Well, if they have their own pre-approval, as long as the dealer gets to talk to the
Financial
the financial institution, then the salesperson makes
God,
more.
that's so weird.
And well, the reason is dealers, a lot of the make it or break it's on if they can get a car sale to work.
Yeah.
Is how are you going to get that finance and what's that person's payment going to be? And usually dealers, they can get a better deal than most people do because...
All right, but if you pulled credit yourself for a pre-approval and you pull it again at a dealer...
as long as...
in a short period
if
of time.
it's... No, actually, that will affect your credit the same as... If you say, like, within a 30-day period, if your credit's pulled, like, 4 or 5 times for the purpose of a car loan, it only affects you the same as if it got pulled once.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So that's why, like, if you go to a dealer and they're shopping around, you're not gonna get like hammered for like 40 points of credit score, because they pulled your credit like 13 times.
Right.
Like that's it doesn't work that way.
Sure.
You're gonna get hammered the same way. And plus it's it's a
I've run
short-term
into
thing, yeah.
especially on like a new car. I've definitely run into like dealer financing. I was like untouchable. Especially if you're financing through like a BMW North America financing or something like
and
that.
The reason for that is, you as a person, you're gonna do like, I mean, somebody gets a lot of financing might do like maybe one loan a year.
Sure.
With this dealership, they're coming to these financial institutions. Each individual dealer, you're getting 7 to 14 cars out a day and that's all potential financing.
Yep.
And that's 7 to 14 customers per day. Then you have a large dealership chain. Well, that's like 100 different car loans.
Sure.
So yeah, that's why they get a better rate, because the banks are actually fighting to get the dealerships.
Because it's less likely a waste of time.
Yeah, it's less likely a waste of time. Plus, I mean, the banks
Plus your information's organized.
Well, the thing is that the bank's not making money if they don't get the deal. And they know that the dealership is actively fighting to get a bunch of banks to... It's a race to the bottom for the banks, really. And what the thing is the bank, they want to get the car financed through them. Because even if they were getting a car financed, if the bank's getting like a 2% APR car loan, that's 2% more money than they were making otherwise.
True. I just heard somebody at the door of the Motorplex, sorry. That's still really surprising to me, though. I mean... So is it a deal that the dealer has worked out with the financial institution?
Yeah, generally
where there's
speaking,
some sort of kickback to give to the salesperson?
No, the dealer itself actually, the financial institution will help the dealer, but if the salesperson isn't pushing the customer to use the dealership financing, then the dealership is less likely to get the deal. So the dealership incentivizes the salesperson to get the financing done. So it really does benefit everyone. So who's at the door?
Looks like my dad. I must have
he
must have locked it with the code instead of unlocked it.
But no, that's why dealer financing works the way it does.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. That is completely news to me. I always figured that dealers appreciated the cash buyer facade because it's no issue. I mean, they just get a check for the full amount.
It's way easier. But I mean, the thing is with the cash buyer, that's a very common misconception. And it makes sense if you think about it. Like, especially if it's something like a cheaper car or if it's something that cannot be financed.
Yeah.
If somebody just walks in with cash, like if it's a car under $3,000,
right,
they're going to be about just like getting it out the door.
Even on a used car.
Yep.
They want to finance it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, that's what the dealer's gonna want to do, and it's like if you are paying cash, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that the dealer appreciates it more if you.
So why? Okay. So turning this back around to dealership issues, why does a salesperson ghost a client the other way around?
So the reason a salesperson would ever ghost a client is if you're wasting their time, because you have to think the salesperson. Even if the salesperson's not based off commission, it's based off total number of sales. That salesperson still, they have to sit there and look at, all right, I need to hit my goal for the month is I gotta sell 10 cars, which is like a pretty reasonable goal.
Yeah.
And to do that, I have to, get 1 or 2 cars like each of these days, and especially towards the end of the month. Like if it's really any day after probably the 20th. I personally, as a salesperson, I would get picky with who I'm dealing with. I don't want to waste my time, spend 3 days with one customer,
but in this
7
case,
hours a day, every day.
Why would you be responsive and then agree to do something and then not do it?
I think likely, to be honest, is probably a salesperson that just sucked.
Yeah, I mean that's who I usually run into. So,
But realistically, for somebody that's a good salesperson,
Yeah.
still, I mean, they would not do that at all.
right.
But a more reasonable salesperson, if they did that, if they thought that you were just taking
Right.
them for a walk and you were not serious about
Right,
it,
but
it's a question of how serious you are about it.
acknowledging out-of-state buyer, not referencing trying to pay less than asking price, because in this particular case, the asking price for the vehicle was fair.
Yeah. So and that's kind of the thing is it is an out-of-state buyer that's
Right.
unlikely to get there before somebody else swoops the sale in from under them.
It had been posted for more than 30 days.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I mean, still, it's if you're like, oh, I got somebody that's coming in 2 weeks to make the sale,
But if they're getting a deposit,
That's
a
true.
non-refundable deposit.
That is true.
That's
yeah.
what I did for like the FJ, and they
Yeah.
held it for 2 weeks, which is not good for a dealer because it went over a month too.
Yeah, that's rough for a dealer.
So they
That's a
agreed to do
super
that.
good dealer on your end. I think your dealership in Michigan, I honestly think you were just dealing with a shitty salesperson, to be honest.
And he was
And-
driving the car, and I think he liked driving it, so I don't think he wanted to sell it.
Yeah.
I'm
that
also
might have
dealing
something
with
to do
a dealer in New York on a Lamborghini Murcielago, and it took me 6 weeks to get him to put it in the air and take pictures of the underside.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he finally did it yesterday. The pictures are terrible, but they show me what I need to know at least.
So how much is the Murcielago?
They're asking $169,995. I told them to walk if they pay a dime more than $150 for it because it's clearly been parked near the coast. Because it's got a
And it's
lot
Italian.
of surface rust on
Nope.
like the CV shafts and stuff. It looks pretty solid.
But
it does.
still.
But I mean, the main reason I wanted photos underneath is the car, when it was 6 months old, had a hefty collision in the front left corner. Clean title,
And you want to make
no
sure
issue.
it's a straight body.
Wanted to make sure, since it's all aluminum and carbon fiber, that it wasn't just like patched together with JB Weld,
Yeah, that's true.
basically. And it looks super solid. Looks
That's
like whoever
very
fixed
true.
it did a really good job. So that was my main concern on that thing. That guy, every time I've been able to get him to reply, he's good.
Also, another thing I just thought about was
Sure.
the salesperson with them not wanting to deal with it. If that salesperson knows that there's something shady going on with the car,
Yeah.
that's another reason. Like there were a couple of times where people were asking about a car and they were just not
Like
realistic.
the black Honda Fit automatic that you guys took in on trade.
Ooh. The adult
where
driven.
everybody said don't do it and they did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
the one.
Oh God, Stephanie.
But
my
no,
God,
there's
Stephanie.
there was that one was bad.
I,
But no, I
I
mean, like, if
named her
there's
Stephanie because she was really loose.
if there was a car that if there was a car where it's like the person's like, I want something perfect.
Yeah.
I want this exact car. I'm looking at the car. I'm looking at the Carfax. I'm like, there's a car accident in 2004. I'm like, this person is just gonna cry about it
Yeah.
and be like, yeah, it's got a car accident.
I had to-
I'll let you know if I find something.
I
That's
had
the
to
thing is,
pull my own Carfax on the Lamborghini too. The guy refused to do it.
What?
That's ridiculous.
Okay, that's not okay.
$170,000 car. I had
Those
to
are
pull my
that's
own
one
Carfax.
thing. Dealerships should always pull either auto check or Carfax.
I agree.
If one of them is pulled, I can fault them for not pulling the other because
Sure.
Carfax
Yeah.
is crazy expensive.
Yeah,
compared-
especially now because
Yeah.
they got rid of the unlimited plans for the dealers.
Yeah, I know that.
Oh,
Each
that's-
Carfax is $40 cost.
Yeah, it's bad.
That's
Oh yeah,
a
no.
chunk when
When
you're
we
doing volume.
when we move when we put the SL on BAT at work, yeah, that was really expensive.
Yikes.
I bought a 3-pack because it was a little cheaper. but
It
was
is
like,
cheaper.
oh.
We got a 6-pack.
I like that term.
When we
I bought a
get
24-pack, bro.
no, we got the 6 of them from because the thing is if I got a customer and
Yeah.
they're and
You're gonna
they're,
use 'em.
they're putting $15,000 into a Vanagon, I'm
Yeah.
gonna show them their history and be like, this car looks great.
Yeah.
Well, this car's got a history. It's been
It has been in no floods.
in the Pacific Northwest for the last 30 years, and
It's
then it got brought up
not
here
been
last
in
year.
Hurricane Florence.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that the one that's going on right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my friend lives in Wilmington, and it went
Oh.
over Wilmington twice.
It's pretty funny.
Hey,
She just moved down here.
Wilmington.
Yeah, they just moved. I don't know where they moved, but they used to be like 2 blocks off the coast.
Okay.
So I was like, "You're evacuating, right?" And she was like, "It's not mandatory yet, so no." And then I got a text a few days later. We went to Raleigh.
Yeah.
Probably smart.
Yeah.
Um,
It was
Hopefully
going
there's
like
something left to
5
come back
miles
to.
per an hour.
So
a couple days ago.
You remember how I mentioned that I almost bought a Yaris?
Mm-hmm.
So it was a manual 3-door that was a really pretty color blue. It was
Okay.
everything I wanted. Actually had a couple of TRD goodies on it. It had like a shift knob and like
Nice.
It had like a shift knob and a sway bar.
I just put knobs in the FJ.
Excellent.
Oh yeah.
But what I really want a first gen Yaris because the TRD support for the first gen Yaris is unreal. Like you can get like a full exhaust, you can get a cold air intake, lowering springs, upgraded like adjustable struts, rear sway bar.
That's actually a pretty good catalog for a Econo box.
Yeah, like when I say a shifter, I mean a short shifter, like not like a physically short, like in a whole shifter, but like where they actually changed like the actuation of it, so it's still like in kind of the same location, but you have a shorter throw.
Sure.
So like you actually have like a bunch of cool
I
stuff.
did a
with
TRD
that.
quick change on the MR2. I'm guessing it's pretty similar.
Yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, or it's not like super low, but it's like maybe like an inch lower, but
But it's considerably notchier.
It's much notchier. Yeah. So they have that
It's got
for
more
the
distance below the fulcrum going on.
yeah. And so I really wanted this Yaris, and should I call out the dealer?
Sure.
Yep,
Yes.
Walzer Toyota in Bloomington.
There you go.
The one that I get my Toyota Sienna serviced at.
Where she always gets perpetually terrible service. Don't go there.
Do they also mansplain all of the service needs to you?
Yes. Well, here, let me quick.
just
before-
throw this to
I'll let
shrub.
Jan tell
I'm
her
gonna
story first.
ramp up this. Okay, so
Let me turn up your mic volume just a hair so you can get
yeah.
extra animated.
Oh my god. So I've been getting this is a Toyota Sienna 2006 so second gen that we've had since new. It's my mom and I were sharing it for a while, and now it's just I shared it with my sister, and now it's kind of exclusively mine. And so I've been getting all these warranty notices, and I'm not yet 25. Shocking, I know. But I had to bring the car in for this warranty service, and they didn't have they didn't have it figured out yet how to fix it. They just wanted me to bring it in to make sure that it wasn't malfunctioning and whatever.
Sure.
And then they were like, we don't have a solution, but we can't let you drive it. And I was like,
Minnesota's not a state where they can not let you take your car. They can
well,
make you sign something, but
they're like, we don't want you to take it. You can get a rental car. And then I was like, I'm not 25. I cannot get I wasn't even.
usually you can, but it's an extra fee.
Yeah, but I think I was like even below
I
like.
think
21.
Jan was like
No.
maybe
I was
21
like
at this-
Okay.
this is
maybe
the first-
20.
It's like the second or third year we were dating.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I
so-
was like, I was maybe 20. I
anniversary,
was
by the
not
way.
yet.
Oh yeah, it's our anniversary today too.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
5 years.
But yeah, so I wasn't even 21 yet, and they did not feel comfortable letting me leave driving it. And
well,
I was
that's fine if they make you aware of the issues, but
yeah,
like, they
and
can't
so
let you
they
not
couldn't
take your
give
car.
me a rental car.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, none of my family members were close enough to come pick me up. But I was like, hey, I live off of Old Shakopee in Normandale.
Yep.
It's
Which
not.
was a mile and a half away from the dealership, by the
Yeah,
way.
and I was like, can somebody just drop me off?
Sure.
And they're like, we don't do that. And
So they
Dealership doesn't have a fucking shuttle?
they
they do, but it didn't go to my house.
All right, so this is one other thing. This is a dealership where the
Fuck
salespeople
that.
are paid hourly. This is on like at the off hour of an off day at the beginning of the month. There's nobody in the dealership right now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
there's no customers.
There was the
they could have
service
easily
desk-
taken a salesperson
Mm-hmm.
like off the show floor where like it really wasn't a problem, or a lot guy, or like the
Yep.
janitor, or actually what they should have done is the fucking manager and driven Jana home.
Or this
Anywho.
is probably before Uber and Lyft, but I mean,
This
that
is
would
Yeah,
around
have-
the
it
time they
was.
were first
They're
becoming a
even
thing.
just paying for a fucking cab.
Yeah, they should have done
That's a
something more.
mile and a half. It wouldn't
Anywho,
have been that expensive.
I had to call my dad. I had them call my dad because I was like, they had some issues with me not being on the title or something too. It was a disaster. So I was like freaking out because I have anxiety. And so
Mhm.
they called my dad, who I think he's on the title of the car. I don't think my mom is on the title of the car. And so they were talking to my dad. My dad's like, you need to let her leave. She needs to go. Let her have her car back. And they were like coming up with excuses. And then they handed me a blank sheet of paper. They wrote something down on like, we're releasing you this car. You're not gonna like come back or do anything.
Right. They can
So,
they
like-
can make you sign something, but they
Yeah.
can't hold your car.
But that's the thing is they were
They
trying
literally-
to tell her that she had to hold her car there.
Yeah, and like I didn't know that because I was like 20 years
Yeah,
old.
that would be something you notify the attorney general about.
Yeah, I mean, but I didn't know what to do. Like, I wasn't.
Yeah.
So my dad was on the phone, and he got really angry, and he was telling them all the stuff that I didn't know. Like, you can't do this, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
You have to like figure out how she's getting home. Like, this is not on her. This is on you, sort
Right.
of deal. And so they
Especially
literally
offered them
Well,
alternatives.
not only that, it's like so the dealer basically what the dealer is saying. Oh, I'm sorry, you bought the brand of car that we are selling, and that car had an issue, and this is your fault that you are now in this situation because you bought a car that we
Look
sell.
what you did to
Yeah.
our perfect car.
You
and I
owned
think,
it. Like that's just ridiculous.
I think we even like bought it from that exact
yeah, like we bought
dealership.
it from that dealer. Yeah.
Not even like a different one, but yeah. So like they literally wrote
Oh,
something
and
down.
one other
on-
thing, honey. This would be their third Sienna that they've bought, and they all her
This is the
grandpa.
second out of 3.
Yeah, and no, this is after your mom bought the third one.
Yeah, this is after.
And so
yeah.
this, they've bought 3 cars from his dealership,
Yep.
and they've referred her grandpa to them as well, and like another family
so
member.
like this thing has been to this dealership since new.
Yes,
Yeah.
like since new, like these are very good customers of this dealership, and they treated her like this. So
Yeah, and yeah. So
I would probably not go back.
no, I don't
not at all.
even get. I don't even go for warranty service. I go to the one in Hopkins.
Yeah.
she drives. Yeah, you drive
out
literally
of my way.
like 8 miles.
This
further.
dealership-
And that's not something Jenna normally does.
No,
No.
this dealership is on the way to my work,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
drive.
You drive
past
past.
me.
her.
They're, yeah, honestly, most. I have trouble with the. Anyway, sorry.
But
please
yeah, they
continue.
took-
BMW dealers.
They
They-
just
yeah.
took a blank piece of paper from their printer, scribbled something down, and made me sign it. Like there was no actual like legal documentation.
That's probably
which
good
it-
enough.
Yeah, that
still,
is good
but
enough.
It was fine, but it was still like I was
Tacky, absolutely.
So
I was 20 years old. They had the owner of the vehicle on the phone,
and they were
like,
still being
and
dicks.
and it's my
and it's against Minnesota state law to hold it in the first place.
yeah,
So-
and my the insurance for the vehicle is under my name.
So let's
So I don't. It was awful. I don't
let's
ever
talk
go
about
back
the
there.
guy who I tried to buy a car
This is
from.
the last time we ever went back to that
Okay,
dealership.
at the same dealership.
Yes.
All right, so
that the
this
Yaris?
is the Yaris
Okay.
now. It's around the time I first started working at Maury's, so
Okay.
it's about 2 years ago now. No, 3 years ago. Yeah, it was about 3 years ago now. So yeah, it was that Yaris I was previously talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We go up to buy it. The salesman's like, I asked the salesman for a Carfax. Says I want to give it to me. I asked him for water. He goes, yeah, sure, I'll go get you a water. While he goes scans my driver's license so we can go for a test drive.
Mm-hmm.
Comes back, goes, okay, let's go for a test drive. I'm like, look here, where's my water? Never got the water. I didn't mention anything about that. It's just like, it's
Making
like
mental notes.
it's making a mental note. It's kind of like so like Van Halen.
I'll let one
David-
slip like that go, but if there's two or
so,
more,
yeah, David Lee Roth had this litmus test famously in Van Halen where
this is a hell of a digression.
No, this is not a digression at all.
Okay.
This is David Lee Roth had a litmus test where he would say, "I do not want any brown M&Ms in my bowl of M&Ms in our dressing room," and the reason for that was, if they didn't take out the brown M&Ms, they probably didn't read the special notes.
Aha.
So that's kind of a precursor of what to expect.
Sure.
So
How good
as-
they are
yeah,
at following
me-
direction and
Me asking the
instruction.
salesperson was,
What else did they miss?
This is also me as a salesperson asking that salesperson that. I asked him for a bottle of water to see, like, all right, so what's this guy gonna fuck up now? So yeah, never get my bottle of water ever.
Mm-hmm.
Go on the test drive, and guys like, oh, what other cars were you thinking about? I'm like, honestly,
we drove the CRX there.
yeah, I drove the CRX there.
like
So I
nothing.
no, I was seriously considering a newer car because the CRX, it's like around the time the CRX was beginning to have some serious reliability issues, and I didn't want to daily drive it anymore.
Sure.
So I said to him, I'm like, well, I was looking at either a Fiat 500, a Barth, or
Nice.
a Mitsubishi Mirage.
Yeah, also pretty good.
Yeah, and I said I want a manual, fully loaded Mirage because at that point in time you could get a manual, fully loaded Mirage.
Mm-hmm.
And he spends the entire test drive not selling me the Yaris, but bashing on the Mirage.
And
Which-
telling me I should buy another Toyota Sienna.
Yeah, so he's like,
I have 3.
no, he's being like, well, he's being kind of able. No, I guess not really able. So like, sexist is a little bit of a overuse
Oh.
of the term, but I guess sexist basically towards Jana.
Sure.
Yeah.
And he's not spending his time selling me why the
I feel
Yaris
like he's
is good.
belittling your guys' intelligence at the same time too, though. That's
Exactly.
kind of like
belittling-
infantilizing.
He's belittling our intelligence, and he's also spending the time belittling the car that I said. I said I actually
you told him you want and like.
Yeah.
yeah, like I love the Mirage. Like I legitimately
If I was
think
trying to sell
that is a
somebody
great
car,
car.
I would be agreeing with them.
And I would say,
Or find the
you know
good
what I would
point.
do as a salesperson?
What?
Somebody says, "Oh, the Mirage, that's a great car. It's super fun to drive. It's got like barely any power."
You
but
go for the good aspects of the car. Like if somebody
you
tells
ta-
me like, "Oh, I want to buy an R8 V8 dual clutch," I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that engine's actually it makes a really good sound."
yeah, and
Like I'm not saying anything about the really horrible things with that vehicle,
Yeah.
which there are a ton. I'm saying that yeah, the engine sounds fabulous in that.
So, like this salesperson, I talked like basically I walked around the lot before I got to the salesperson
Okay.
for about 15 minutes.
Yeah, that
looking
happens.
exclusively at Yaris's.
Your body
looking-
language is like my
looking
favorite thing ever
sa-
right now. Just so you
looking
know.
salespeople in the eye. While I'm saying that, I'd see salespeople with nothing going on, like on their phone,
Yeah, that-
walking by, and I'd say, "Yeah, Jana, this is a pretty cool Yaris. I wonder if they have any of these with a manual transmission. I would love to finance this. This would be totally worth $105 a month." So
I could totally see you saying exactly that at a dealership at that volume
at about that
level.
volume, so like I could make sure they're hearing me.
And we are looking over, and like they were all at the front door.
Yeah, like not doing shit, like not even
texting,
helping us
and they
at
would
all.
like
They're
look.
awful.
They would look up at us and then back down to their phones and then look back up
It's
at us.
awful.
and
It's
down
the
on their
worst
phones.
experience. Anyway, so
Let's move on to the BRZ.
yeah, I'm done with it. Needless to say, I do not own a Yaris. Don't go to Walzer.
Oh, and he never
And I
followed
don't
up
like
with
Yeah.
us,
Oh yeah.
dealers.
The guy never followed up with me.
even though that we were like we're really interested,
Like, dude never followed up with me.
even
But
though
anyway,
that the car had a flat
Well,
tire.
one second. Anyway, so
On that desk.
yeah, the guy never followed up with me, and just whenever you buy from a dealership, buy from somewhere where it's actually a commission sale, because that salesperson's going to try to get your business.
Yes.
Because if you're doing hourly like Walzer does, you get that kind of service. You get Walmart service. But yeah, let's move on to the BRZ.
Walmart's. service.
Subaru has a new special edition of the BRZ out. It is not 300 horsepower. It is not turbo. It does not have a WRX engine. It does not have anything special mechanically with it at all.
Oh, nice. That sounds like a really great special edition.
It is pastel gray.
I like that color.
That's the thing. It's a very, very pretty car. The thing is, though, is like
Why do they keep ignoring the thing that everyone wants?
it's that. It's literally that. So my thing is like, why won't they make like? I'm a fan of the BRZ being NA.
Yeah, it's a great car.
I want-
It doesn't need more power.
No,
but
not
it
at-
would
not-
be
not at
cool
all.
to have an option offered with more power.
It's kind of like they have a bunch of people that want to buy them, and said, I just wish it made more power.
Yeah.
And it's like it's perfect as it is. Yeah, you're right. But
I
that-
also
that
would-
salesperson that I had
Like,
at Walzer,
Yeah.
he's now in charge of marketing for Subaru and Toyota for the BRZ. And he goes, the customer doesn't know what they want. They don't know what they like. They want
200
what I
horsepower
like.
is a sufficient
They
amount
should
for
get a
this chassis.
Toyota Sienna instead of a Yaris.
Oh.
Like, that's what this guy's like. I don't get it. Because it's like you can
How many
put
special editions is that of the Toyota
every year,
GTB
every
86?
year they've had a special edition for every version of it. So it's in 3 cars, and they've been selling it for what, 6 years?
I came out in 12, I think. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 6 years. So it's at least 12 different special editions.
And one of them had a little more power. It was like 4 more horsepower.
They added more power last year.
Oh, okay.
But that's the thing is like, all right, cool. You gave him 5 horsepower.
Yeah, that was like the
People are
STI
asking
one had
for-
5 horsepower.
They're like they're asking people are asking for more power. That's the thing. It's like
Talking like 50.
if you're a marketing person and you're like, I just don't get why these aren't selling enough, and you have every single person that's in the demographic that's selling that car,
Yep.
you would just make more power. Like that's what you would do. You would say, all right, well, we have cafe fuel emission standards. We have to hit this level
What they should
for
do.
fuel economy. How can we make it 0.2 of a liter bigger? What can we do?
You could, but I think the reason why they don't do that is because they have to federalize and crash another power plant then.
Yes, that is
What
true.
they could do, though, is pull a Callaway. Get the most reputable supercharger manufacturer that currently makes BRZ kits,
Exactly.
install them at the dealer, warranty them,
Yep.
and then it's fine.
Isn't that what Map tried to do with the EcoBoost Mustang?
Yeah, they did do that for a while, but then there's some stuff that happened, but you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, or like Shelby.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's like a Shelby thing, or a Callaway, or a roof.
I'm like, there's always, if they're motivated to do it, they can do it. There's always a way to do it.
And that's
Getting
the
carb
thing.
certification's tough. It's not impossible.
Well, the thing is, all right, so if there were this many people
Yeah.
asking for a hybrid Outback, you
Yeah.
know that there would be a
Of
hybrid
course.
Outback next year.
Can
if
we
you
please
had,
have a hybrid Outback?
if you had,
No.
actually,
No hybrid Outback.
To be honest, they made a hybrid Crosstrek, and it made more power.
Of course it did.
It was
it's got
actually,
motors too.
It was actually faster than the normal Crosstrek.
What's that new gigantic
And it
piece of
came in a
crap that they
very
make
The
called?
pretty
Ascent.
color.
The
But
Ascent?
no,
I saw one of those at Grimspeed yesterday. They bought it because it has the new STI motor in it, apparently.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it
So
does.
they're
that.
going to like tune the hell out of it.
and then when the STI comes out, they're like, yeah. All right, so anyway,
I'm looking forward to that.
the thing is, if this was any other car, if this is not a performance car, if this is an Outback,
Yeah.
you know that Subaru would already, if it was an Outback, Subaru would already be far
I'll
and
go
wide
one
having it
further.
available.
Any product request that is CUV related.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, we'll give you whatever you want.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is, if it's not just like, I will honestly say, they would probably be able to get. I think 75% of people that aren't buying them are
Yeah.
probably citing lack of power.
And they honestly,
And I think if they put more power into it,
yeah,
they would not get 75% more sales.
no,
I really, truly, honestly believe
yeah.
30 to 40% more sales.
But still, I mean, for a niche car, they sell really well.
They do sell really well.
So, I mean, at least for a couple of years, like an optional supercharged one. Or
You know,
Yeah.
Volkswagen
turbo, I guess.
was losing sales on the Golf R
Mm-hmm.
because they didn't have any fancy colors.
And look what they did.
They made 40 new colors.
They brought back Taco Night.
They're
Yeah.
$100, but I mean, it's
Just
still
like
an
a Model
option.
3. When I was specking one the other day, the only color you can get for a no charge is black.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
I would
that
get a black one then.
explains
You
a
can
lot.
get any color you want as long as it's black.
Yeah, it's like a Model T, basically. Maybe that's kind of a play on that. I don't know.
It probably is.
Musk is probably like, what color should we give them for
He's
free?
starting smoking. We get
Give them
dude, let's
black
give 'em
like the
black,
Model T.
because Henry Ford had the right idea.
The black lacquer. Watch,
Wait,
it's probably a
what's it?
lacquer paint job too. It's probably not. Oh no.
Give him the black.
I don't like this.
Anyway,
Can I
that's what
please
it'd be
go
like. So
For the audio listeners,
I
Ryan
had to
just took a
vape.
large drag on his vape and then
and
played
then
it off like
impersonated
the Elon Musk.
Well,
podcast.
it's really for the people on the YouTube.
Yeah, we're trying to promote the people watching it on YouTube.
Exactly.
Like, good on you for
Like Elon Musk on the Joe Rogan
for
podcast.
being able to handle.
We need to have Elon Musk on. Do you know how?
Elon Musk, please
I bet
come.
everybody is on Joe Rogan's podcast, which I previously did not remember existed.
I tried to listen to that for a while, but they're like daily and they're like 2 or 3 hours a piece. I'm like,
Oh,
does
I
he-
can't.
How does he do that?
I don't know.
He's clearly
It's maybe not daily, but
married.
it's close. Like he does like multiple.
He
a
probably, you know what
week.
he probably does? He probably just does like one day, like his Sunday is just like, you know, like us. Like
Straight,
we,
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yep.
we do a lot on Sunday. But his Sundays, like he wakes up like 10 o'clock and like goes home at 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
And
probably.
he just gets like 7 hours or 7 days worth of
His
podcast.
podcast is pretty good.
Gracias.
It's just the reason I stopped listening to it is because of all the like the fitness and the diet stuff. I just
Yeah, I don't give a shit about
care
that.
about any of that.
I don't give a shit
Drink
about
more
that.
yeah, Musk, you're
water.
welcome on our podcast. You are welcome to.
I would
partake in the
love to have-
the devil's lettuce in here. That is just fine.
I'd be fine with that. I'd smoke weed with Elon Musk. That'd be great.
we
I
have
have bad
screen
reaction to it, and I
doors.
would still also do that. Yeah.
But no, I
Good
really
airflow.
think like, you know, the pros and cons of the 8.6. I just
Yeah.
want to go back to it because
Sure.
we're kind of digressing.
Weird.
I know, right? Like, if that car was turbocharged, in all honesty, like, as much as I don't care, I get the appeal of that. Where
Yeah.
in America you would get even more sales.
If they offered 2 versions, I'd still buy the NA one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too. Or even honestly T-tops, I would like more. But that's
Oh
just
my
me.
word!
But
That would make
was
it
not on the
so
table, Ryan.
gross.
no, it's not. That was just something I came up with.
Subaru, please don't listen to that awful idea.
But no, it's one of those things
Make
where
them pink.
like I would not be like inclined to buy one, but if I had I would appreciate the ability to do that.
Yeah. No, I
It's
get that.
Like the Forester XT.
Giving people the
Actually,
option.
that makes even less sense why they did that because they offered a turbo in the fucking Forester.
Yep.
And there's a V6 in the Outback, which nobody buys for the V6.
Well, it's technically a flat six, right?
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's 180-degree V6 that happens to be a even firing, so it's be a boxer. So
And lovely people that listen to the MotorCult podcast know the difference now.
yeah,
because we
because
covered it for
that.
them.
Yeah, exactly. No, so they've got the.
Do you know what is a way better boxer?
Hmm.
The 1930s BMW flat 2-cylinder.
You know what? Let's just go talk about that because I'm just getting myself.
Did
all
you guys
worked up.
watch any of the Goodwood?
I watched a little bit. It was fun.
Oh, were you talking about the motorcycle?
kid.
Yes.
The supercharged
Yes.
one?
Yes.
Yes, I saw
the
that one.
1932 supercharged, no suspension BMW motorcycle
I
with
saw
a
that.
suicide shifter on the throttle side of the motorcycle for
Didn't
no
he,
reason.
And he started and lasted. Like,
No.
That's
That was.
that's the. We'll talk about that in a second. That's
yeah,
a car.
we'll get to that. Yeah, that's the
but
car.
this guy, he started near the
I
back
saw
of the
that
field,
car.
and
You were
he-
taking a shower when he was racing. When this race was.
Corey
So it's a
sent
hard-
it to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's clips of both of these things, but we're talking about the motorcycle first. So it's a 1932 horizontally opposed 2-cylinder supercharged BMW
Yeah.
motorcycle with no suspension.
Yeah, and he was like
Going
laying
through
that
the
cylinder
corners.
head.
Oh, dude, yeah. It's like
I hope he has
dragging the
children
cylinder head.
before the race. He's not
His-
having them
his-
after.
It's probably just like Tesla's free energy. It's probably his seed is just being broadcast and like a
Broadcast.
half-mile
All
radius.
women
because his
within-
balls are just so huge.
All women within a half mile of his motorcycle are now pregnant with
Okay,
his seed.
makes
So
sense.
watching this thing, and the guy is like, he's going around this like what looks like a perfectly smooth track with all the
And
other
just-
bikes, and the guy's just like
Oh yeah, he's got his
all
shaking,
over
like
the place.
holding
It's
on
like
for dear
the
life.
back wheels like hopping up and skipping like inches at a
God.
time through
Yes.
corners. And while that's happening, he's full on the throttle, and he's taking his right hand off the right handle grip, reaching over to the right side of the tank. Sorry, left hand off the left grip, reaching over to the right side of the tank,
And
pulling
having-
a large shifter rod up and down shifting while he's full on the throttle.
Having to move
And
his
the-
arm to
Oh my
get through the shift
God.
pattern and inhale to get it. So it's like because he's trying to, because he's on a corner and the side, like the side that he's on, he's shifting his weight to be down. So he has to move his body physically to get it into gear. It is
Oh.
the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I'm gonna
Oh
pull up
my
a video
God.
clip of this because it's
Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, no, we totally
I
should.
think
Actually,
I've
I think
seen
we,
it, but
it
now
was
it's described
it was
to me.
hilarious. While you're putting that up, I do also
Yeah.
want to talk about another horrible motorcycle driver.
Okay.
Did you hear about that guy that in MotoGP that was passing somebody and grabbed his brake handle?
Oh,
at
God,
130
yes.
for the front brake.
Weren't they trying to charge him with like
Attempted-
manslaughter
yeah,
or
probably,
something?
but no, he's got kicked off the team. He ruined his career. So him with that other douchebag from Formula 2 or whatever, they're gonna have a great racing team of just being pricks with wearing their MAGA hats. But anyway,
MAG.
I thought he was trying to like pat the dude on the back, but no, he's
no.
grabbing the
That
brake.
one happened. That was the thing that happened at Goodwood. No, this one was at MotoGP. Except
Okay.
At Goodwood, a guy passes a motorcyclist and just to be cheeky, taps him on the shoulder and gives him a thumbs up and continues driving past him.
No, but yeah, this guy is the one that like kicked an opponent's motorcycle earlier in the season.
Oh Jesus! What a
They're
prick!
in a corner, like a guy's next to him, and he like takes his leg and just like smacks it as hard as he can against the other bike.
What the? This isn't rugby. This isn't.
What's the F1
Road
guy
rash.
we were talking about earlier in
it's
the year?
Ferruccio. Go fuck yourself or something.
I was gonna say Market Dickey or whatever the
This
hell,
isn't
but
rugby, you guys.
you know I'm having trouble finding this BMW.
We'll
motorcycle
post
video.
it up on the
Yeah, we'll
on
find
the
it.
on the MotorCult Facebook page.
But
It's
anyway,
worth a watch.
the second one I want to talk about, I mean, there were a couple interesting things, but not great. The second one was there was one of the vintage
Let's go
car
back to the
races.
podcast notes, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, but what was that car called?
It was a Porsche 356. It was a white and green car.
Okay, yeah.
He had qualified first. He was in pole position on the
Yes.
grid. Stalled it at the launch. Just like, and they interviewed him afterward. Like, I was just bracing my head against the seat because I'm about to get just fucking plowed by another one of these cars because he's sitting pole position and there's
Yeah.
full trot cars launching by him. He gets it restarted, starts second from last, and finishes the race second place overall.
So the
Wow.
very last race
Wheeling
of
the fuck out of this 356.
That's
the
amazing.
last race of the Festival of Speed.
Yeah.
Or not Festival, I guess Revival.
This is
I'm sorry,
Revival.
this is
right? I can't. I don't know which one it is, so I
Yeah,
just
it's
put
It's just
Goodwood.
Goodwood. Goodwood.
It's Revival.
Goodwood.
Okay,
But no,
Revival.
the very last race, there is it was the GT cars,
Yeah.
the 60s GT, and there was this Lister Jaguar.
Ooh.
What was that called? The Knobbly. That's what it's called. The Lister Jaguar Knobbly, because it had like all these weird corners to it. It was a great name.
Knobbly's my nickname.
But anyway, so the guy qualifies for pole position, right?
Yeah.
Then at the beginning of the race, car breaks down. because Jaguar.
Yeah.
Has throttle issues.
Of course. It's probably a Lucas.
Doesn't he start in the pits?
But yeah, he starts in the pits.
Okay.
He has 1 lap to get the car running.
Sure.
Gets it started right after everybody takes off. Starts in last place. Goes and wheels his way up to not only like the
Podium.
onto the podium, but on the last lap takes first place
Oh my God.
and
It was,
wins.
oh my gosh.
It was the most amazing race I've ever. I highly recommend looking it up.
Wait,
the Lister Jaguar Knob.
Were they racing the 50s 4-door Jags?
No.
Okay.
These
there
were
was
it was
another
like,
upset.
These
on
were
those.
against like Lotus 11s and Ferrari 250s and stuff like that. I highly recommend looking at that. It's a 25-minute long race, and that is honestly probably the greatest piece of motorsports I've seen this year.
And at first, you don't pay attention to him.
Because
You're
he's so
just
far
like,
back.
He's so far back. And what's really interesting is the people fighting for second.
Yeah, there's
like 2 people fighting for second.
it was a Ferrari 250 versus a Jaguar or a Lotus 11.
And the Lotus
So-
11 somehow makes it from...
just like a $30 million like
So
Well,
this-
dog
not
fight.
only that, let's just talk about the fact that it's like a 3-liter Ferrari versus a 1-liter Lotus.
But yeah, so the Lotus finally beats the Ferrari and beats whatever car was like firm in first. And
Yes.
then all of a sudden, the Jaguar comes and swoops in.
you're-
Ferrari's knocked off podium. It
Yes. Oh, it was
was
the
just
best.
every second of this race is incredible and like eye-catching and like you don't even want to blink during this
There
race.
was that Ferrari losing podium to the two
Oh my God.
to the 2 Lotus Lotus 11s. But it was great because
The
the
previous-
Ferrari was like the gap between fourth and fifth place and the fourth place
Yeah.
was like 4 seconds.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was a huge gap. It was like
Basically insurmountable.
It was like these 3. It was these 3 cars, like the 2 Lotuses and the Ferrari, all vying for podium, and then like out of nowhere, this Lister just comes up, and then the Ferrari was sitting there, and he was holding off this other Lotus. Like one Lotus got in front of him, he's like, all right, whatever, it's done. But the other one, he was holding off for like probably 22 minutes of the race. In the last 3
Just
minutes
making
of
his car like 3 lanes wide.
yeah, like the last 3 minutes of the race, he just barely the Lotus. He runs the Lotus off the road almost, and the Lotus is able to pass him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Lister Jaguar, like 2 minutes later, like this is like the last I guess it says like last 5 minutes. So 2 minutes later, last two or three laps of the race.
Sure.
The Lister Jaguar is trying to pass this Maserati, and the Maserati's rear end lets loose, and the Lister goes off the track and like loses the rear end. It catches the front of the car on the track, kicks the rear end back out the opposite direction, and then is able to save it and still pass the Maserati and had enough time left. Everybody's like, this is it. He's going to take second place. That's going to cost him first place. Like, he's going to get podium, but he's not going to win. And it was like the last lap was just like he just magically does it. It was amazing.
And what
the
was-
best race I've ever seen.
And
I
what
think
was funny about the Ferrari losing podium is
Yeah.
that a Ferrari had just won the last race.
Hmm.
So they're like, oh,
Suck it,
Ferrari's going to
Enzo.
make it
Yeah,
on the
no.
podium again. And then
They're
it
going to
was
do
like,
it. Oh, no, he's not.
just
I
kidding.
think like if we ever go to either Revival or Festival of
Oh,
Speed,
God,
like
I have
we'll
to.
have to avoid the medical staff because
Oh,
they're going to be
God.
seriously concerned about the size of the men's balls.
Yeah.
They're
like
going to have
this
wheelbarrows.
there must be some
I
medical
heard,
problem.
I heard that their medical staff, they have a whole wheelbarrow crew where they've got 30 people with wheelbarrows that just haul
it's
around
like-
people's balls in front of them.
It's like fluffers in porn. They just have the wheelbarrow.
yeah, it's exactly like a
Racers.
fluffer. But actually, speaking of balls of steel, another great race was the pre-war Formula, like GP cars, because you were having these Bugattis and stuff, but really the Bugattis, those aren't even the cars I was excited about. It was the ERAs,
Okay.
which were English Racing.
Wow, very original name.
Yeah, English Racing Association.
What should we call it?
ERA.
Well, we're doing racing in England for an
by the way,
association. How about we
pre-war-
call them the ERAs?
I had to give it the pre-war bell. But these ERAs.
That napkin kind of muted it a little bit. What's going on? Oh, that had a nice ring to it. You can just keep it over there. I don't even-
I need it more than you do. But yeah, so the ERA races was fantastic because I mean ERAs are relatively cheap for pre-war race cars because they're around $400,000. There's just like a trillion of them left.
Sure.
But no, it was a ERA against a Maserati, and then there was this other car. I can't remember what it was, but it literally had plumbing tubes for suspension,
Oh,
like lead tubes. Like that's how the suspension was. And it was able to get podium, which was pretty cool. It was
Lead is not a strong metal.
no, it was not good. But no, the guy
you don't
that
want to kick it.
I think it was
No,
I,
it does
actually,
bend.
I think it was Duncan Pittaway that was driving, and he's if you know BTCC or vintage car racing. Yeah, I think there's Duncan Pittaway in the other car. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me. But no, that was a very good race as well. But yeah, it's God, Goodwood Revival. That is a fantastic race
I don't
series.
know if I would rather go to Festival of Speed or Revival.
Both. Let's get a timeshare in England.
I wish they were closer together so we could just spend time in England. And
Yeah,
go to
that's the
both,
thing.
but
I would say it's worth just once in your life
yeah,
going to Europe for a summer.
I think do both, but do them in separate years.
Yeah.
Or honestly, just do it all at once.
do a sabbatical.
Yeah, you could do.
I don't think my work offers those. I'm
No,
not an
you could do
educator.
Dar,
Festival
you
of
should
Speed.
become an archaeologist like me.
You go to Festival of Speed. You can probably hit up. I think Nürburgring 24 Hours in Le Mans happens after that,
Probably.
and then you would be able to hit Goodwood Revival and then come back and
That would be
very
fun.
poor.
What I would do is I'd find my Renault in 7 years. I find my Renault Aventime.
Yes.
I buy it. We drive it all the way around, do all
And then
this
you
stuff.
bring it back.
Bring it back to Neil. Have him ship it over here. Then we don't have to pay for a rental car. We can sleep in the damn thing.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I know some people that actually do travel stuff, and we could probably talk to them.
Yeah, it
find
would be
one.
good to know like the ins and outs of like, oh, don't do that.
Yeah,
Basically.
I also have a friend in England, so
Nice.
yeah,
So
I
there's
I
that.
don't think I do.
I have at least one.
I could ask my YouTube subscribers like, hey, randos,
Who lives
you
in
got a
England?
couch?
Yeah, that might work.
I mean,
Might.
he is an ex of a family friend, but I think it'll be fine.
Honestly, just like
it's not like
person that
going to
are, like-
Monaco where everything's super
Oh, God,
expensive.
no. No,
Like,
I know.
Yeah,
It
you're
wouldn't be
just
that
going
bad.
to England.
I know.
Like,
Then there's
it's-
hostels and stuff all over too. It'd
Yeah,
be fine.
exactly.
And in 7 years, when the Aventime is available for import, I think we will have more
Yes.
discretionary travel funds.
Yeah, I would absolutely do that in 7 years. I would go with you.
I'm
We can
cool.
get Jana like a, I don't know, a Renault 5 Maxi or something. Not turbo.
We'll
That'd be
find
too
something
expensive.
Otherwise, the
Cute.
Aventime has 4 seats.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so she can
Very
have her own
comfortable
keep-
seats.
You have to have your souvenir.
We should do 2 cars though, because it's cheaper to ship 2 to a container.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Like
So
you need
we'll
you need to
find
have
me
your.
the smallest, cutest car,
Yep.
and then the Aventime.
And then we'll have Neil ship it back, and he'll just
Twizy?
he'll fill the rest of the container with bubble wrap.
Twingo. We can get a
Twingo.
Twingo.
You could get a Twingo now. Yes.
Yes, that's what
In
I'm
fact,
thinking of.
it's not actually a terrible idea.
Actually, the thing is, I mean, all right. So this is my thing. It's like in 7 years, I'm gonna be like running out of cars quickly that I really care
Yeah.
to import.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you.
I think the
Aventime is, like,
Aventime is at the end.
That's
It's
the
an
last
outlier.
one.
Yeah, it's
that's
like,
the
why did this
last
even
one.
happen?
Yeah, because I'm trying to think like things that came out around the time of that, like the late
Well,
'90s.
Well, even if you're not jazzed about it, you could find something that's worth a ton here and
Yeah.
worth nothing over there, and just import it and sell it.
like, I'm just thinking about cars that, like from that era that I even care. Like, I guess a Renault Clio V6.
Oh yeah, but those are worth money over there too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Find something that's a diesel and a manual over there that's worth nothing, and bring it in here and sell it.
A Renault Clio diesel manual.
There you go. Problem solved. Washing my hands of that issue.
All right, so we're at about an hour and 10 minutes. Do you want to try and get one more topic in, or?
You can keep going.
Yeah, I think we can.
We're
keep
only
going.
doing one this week, so we
Yeah,
can
we
make it a
are,
little
so
longer
that's
if we
true,
have to.
yeah.
So
Well, we're gonna do one that we might.
that's true.
We might be a little
when
late.
we
might
when
be
I
a
come
little
back from
late,
Brainerd, so I didn't.
yeah.
Let's just do one or two more. and
Let's
we'll call it good.
let's talk about
Oh,
the.
can we talk about the dash cam?
No, actually,
No?
well, before that, I want to know. This kind of carries into our previous conversation about racing. Who is your favorite race car driver of all time? But who's your favorite, and who would you consider the best?
You know, I'm probably gonna get like
They're two different.
razzed
answers.
on the internet for this, especially on the MotorCult page, but I don't follow racing at all.
That's okay.
So my favorite person that I like to watch on a track,
Yes.
Sabine Schmidt.
Sabine Schmidt.
She is like my spirit animal. That lady's done like 17,000 laps of the Nürburgring, crashed more times than she can count.
I'll have to look her up. And
when I
add her
first
to my
saw
list.
her,
She took over Jeremy Clarkson's role on English Top Gear for a
Okay,
while.
I'll have to
Yeah.
add her to my list of
and
awesome women.
back when I first started like watching her stuff, like she was younger and very attractive as well, so that didn't hurt.
She's still attractive.
She is still like,
She's just,
especially
like-
for her
Okay,
age,
so
very
my
attractive.
Ryan knows all my favorite, but I do have to say Michelle Maton.
Okay.
She's a rally B driver.
Group
she,
B rally. She
Group
did
B rally.
Audi.
She did Audi.
Okay.
She is the background of my phone. I don't know if I can.
Just hold it up to that.
She's my.
Oh, you can
phone
see her.
background.
Yeah, you can see her.
I mean, you can bring it way up there too if you want.
And she's
fine.
also
Otherwise,
my.
I'll have to Google it.
Yeah, I'll just add up a picture of.
It's right there.
Yep, you can see her clearly.
There you go. Perfect.
So yeah, I always have her because like I don't know, she did rally racing, which is like one of my favorite
Well,
sports.
especially Group B.
Well, she also added the IMSA, or she raced the IMSA Quattro that we saw.
Yeah.
That raced at she raced the IMSA Quattro as well.
Yeah.
In America, the one that broke IMSA basically, it just ruined IMSA.
Yeah. So she's really cool.
she's really good at
Was
racing.
this a separate person? The,
No,
not
this
the
is-
Group B person?
Michelle
No,
Maton.
no, it's the same lady. She also raced the IMSA Quattro,
Oh.
the one that broke IMSA racing as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, they,
that
like,
those lap
ru-
times are not plausible.
it literally ruined the series after
Yeah.
her.
And then I think everyone at this point knows that I love Ayrton Senna.
And Nikki Lauda.
That's
Not as much as Ayrton Senna. Like
She was fun.
entire laptop.
I like Senna's philosophy for sure.
This entire laptop is full of photos of Ayrton Senna.
That's
and
kind of creepy.
yeah, it was.
She's
it's
like
bad.
really about Ayrton Senna.
Well, he died in 1994.
I know the year I was born, so
Oh,
it's
I feel
really
old.
problematic.
So I guess I would say my favorites. Ayrton Senna is up there. You didn't give Nikki Lauda any love, so I'm gonna say Nikki Lauda is up
I
there.
do like Niki Lauda. I also like James Hunt, but
Yeah. I
that's
like,
also because Chris Hemsworth played.
Who's that Finnish rally driver guy? The older dude.
Stig Blomqvist.
No.
Um,
I'll try to.
The
figure it
one
out.
Finnish rally driver.
Well, sorry, he was on Top Gear. He taught James May how to rally in a 190
Blomqvist,
Cosworth.
I
No,
think.
it's not him.
Was it not him?
No.
But no, there's
Mika Häkkinen.
oh yeah, Mickey Hakkinen. Yeah, I
like him.
Yeah. But no, I think I do want to shout out a couple of Japanese drivers that nobody in America really pays attention to. Nobuteru Taniguchi, Nob Taniguchi. He does the Japanese version of Top Gear called Hot Version now. Best Motoring Hot Version. One of those two.
That is such a Japanese name.
I know, right? But
Best motoring hot version.
But yeah, no, Nob Taniguchi, he was one of the guys that brought drifting to the United States, but he's actually a really, really good endurance racer.
Okay.
So he races the Petronas AMG GTR.
Okay.
So he races that. And then Kaiichi Sachi, everybody knows him. Famous.
Can we quick play some Eurobeat?
No.
I don't know if YouTube would
Kaiichi
let us.
Sachiya, I really like just because of what he's done, like with Mazdas and Toyotas. He also raced Toyota in the Super Taiku Championship as well, which is Japanese touring car.
I want to update my answer to the dude with the gigantic wheelbarrow balls that rode the BMW supercharged motorcycle.
Yes, that guy's up there. Yes.
Wait, hold on a second. Who was the girl for Too Fast, Too Furious?
Oh.
In the pink car?
Suki.
Yes.
She's a Korean model. She's not a race car driver.
I like her.
But no, there's just so many people through history. Nigel Mansell, him and his mustache with his eyebrows are the same size of his mustache. He's
Anyone
up
that
there.
wore a leather helmet?
Can we count Burt Reynolds?
No, but we can count Richard Petty, NASCAR driver. He
Paul
also
Newman?
Paul
Not
Newman's
just
cool.
naming off people.
No, but actually, I'm gonna say Richard Petty's up there too for one of my favorite race car drivers of all time.
The only Petty name I know is Tom Petty, and that's very different.
Oh, Richard Petty. If you Google him, he looks exactly what you imagine a NASCAR driver to look
He
like.
looks like
He was super
Ricky
just,
Bobby.
No, just
No, he-
leathery tan with a huge mustache and thin with like a huge cowboy hat. I'm pretty sure he raced in a cowboy hat.
he looks like the coach from Cars, like Lightning McQueen's
I never
coach.
saw Cars.
Oh.
Here, let me.
Well, Lightning McQueen's coach.
Can
is
you
based
just
off of
Google a
him.
picture of Richard Petty? This guy also, like, the older he gets, the cooler he gets. But no, he's got an amazing racing pedigree. I mean, he's kind of like,
Oh my word.
Yeah.
He looks like a really hick Jeff Foxworthy mixed with a Burt Reynolds.
exactly like that. That's what you think of when you think of a NASCAR driver is Richard Petty.
Yeah, I cannot imagine
America.
any fully formed English word being shot out of that mouth hole.
Yeah, he's got a very thick Georgian accent. But no, he's honest.
Also, websites need to go die and kill themselves.
But yeah, of all the.
I did not want a goddamn autoplay video, you piece of shit. I wanted a
Anyway,
fucking
let's get off this
picture.
website. Yeah,
Anyway,
no,
that's a tiny photo, which is best the internet can give us. There you go.
yeah, Richard Petty, honestly, probably the coolest race car driver I've ever met. Like, really down to earth. He's like multi-millionaire and won like everything in NASCAR. You know the Dodge Charger Daytona, the one that all the muscle car fanboys are all about with the giant wing and the pointing nose.
Is that a Plymouth Roadrunner?
Same thing. They literally are the same thing.
Oh, okay. I have no idea.
It's Superbird, by the way.
Whatever.
But yeah, no, he's the guy that raced that car.
Okay.
And he like continued racing like up into the 80s. Like he's just old as shit when he was still racing. So he had overlap with Dale Earnhardt in the 80s. So it's like that's how old he was. Like
Basically, if you mix sand with dirt and silica,
yeah,
that's roughly
he was,
the age
he was
of this man.
old and just kept
There's
racing. And that's
photos
why
of him in my Earth history book.
yeah, that's what I
wouldn't
appreciate
doubt
him
it.
for. Because that guy's
It's an
racing career,
anthropological study.
that guy's
Damn.
racing career like ended like recently. So
Probably from like death too.
no,
not
he's
even-
still alive. He's just old as
the
dirt.
fuck?
I think he's the last surviving
When
Civil
was he
War
born?
veteran.
Like 1870?
No, I'm pretty sure he fought in the Civil War. Dude's old as shit. I love
Goddamn
Richard Petty.
Confederates.
Yeah, Richard Petty, he's definitely up there.
Oh my word. Oh my word.
What's your favorite race series?
Race series?
it's like asking-
I want to say it's probably going to be something like Champ Car.
I'm
so
gonna say
Okay.
vintage
the
car.
budget racing.
Vintage car racing.
I
is
really
right there.
like historic racings,
Yeah.
but I do have to say Rally B because of Michelle.
Group B
Mattel.
rally.
Honestly, the more vintage races I go to and like how fucking cool all the people are that own those
yeah.
cars, that's the main thing. Like I enjoy watching the budget shit car racing like
Yeah.
Lemons and Champ Car and Chump Car and WRL a
Yeah.
lot more. And I like the cars more in those. But the people in vintage racing, like walking through the paddock is a way better experience. Like everyone with their $500 E36s, they're just pricks.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Horrible people. And like all these multimillionaires and their leather capped ball wheelbarrow floor panned out pre-war cars.
It's when you run to the person that has a Maserati birdcage, they're usually a pretty nice guy because you're the sort of person that spends $4 million in a race car
Yeah.
for you to just play around with as your toy.
Yep.
You know, you're the sort of person that's not going to hide it away. You're not going to think it's anything that special.
Yeah.
You're going to be pretty down to earth.
That's kind of true. I mean, I don't have anywhere near that kind of cash.
Vintage.
But even
I will put vintage car over any other racers. IMSA, NASCAR, Formula One, Formula E.
I do feel like most of the racing events that I attempt to attend are vintage car related.
Yes.
Those are by far
And
the
even
most.
like, okay, I drove the E30 M3 around this morning because I went to
Yeah.
car shows with it, and I ended up putting a bunch of miles on it. And like, I took it to Grimspeed yesterday too, met Balto and a bunch of other people,
Yeah.
and like the people that come up and like the questions they ask, I guess I'm to the point now where I will stay closer to the car so I can field that kind of question instead of just letting people do whatever with the car. But like, I feel like I used to be more of a prick when I drove that thing and I was more worried about it. But like, I kind of get where the people with these really expensive cars are coming from because they're
Yeah.
like, they're past the point where like, yeah, I spent this much
You
money
don't care
on it.
anymore. It's
like
lost the allure of just being this expensive thing.
what they make versus what they spent on that vintage car versus what I make versus what I spent on the E30 M3 is roughly equivalent.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I think the mindset's probably fairly similar.
It is exactly that. It's you have this very cool thing. You're okay sharing your toy.
Right.
Um,
Right.
I'm going to say one other racing series that I find very deeply exciting. I actually wrote about it on the MotorCult blog, is Formula E.
Yeah, that's up and coming in pretty cool. And the battery advancements and electrical motor stuff coming out of that is going to be super useful.
Really, it's not even that. It's good racing.
Yeah.
Formula E today is what Formula 1 was in the 90s.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
You even have the same names. Nigel Mansell's son, Nelson Piquet's son, like
Look at how
Alain
excited he
Prost's
is.
son. Like literally all of the children of our favorite race car drivers
I don't
are
even
in
make
that
him that
series.
happy.
Where's the Senna? Oh,
Oh.
too soon.
Senna's
No.
got kids.
Does he?
He
Yeah,
has.
he has kids. I think
Do
they
they
actually
race?
Yeah, they do. They do a Brazilian
Did
touring
they do
car.
Formula E?
No, they do.
They should.
They no, one had I think his name was like Bruno Senna. Yeah, Bruno Senna. He was in Formula 1.
Of course he has kids. He's got
Yeah.
the balls that emanate the Tesla
Yeah.
juice
Yes.
or whatever.
Yes.
Bruno raced Formula 1, did all right, but he does Brazilian touring car. Surprisingly, very good series.
It's not surprising. I just picture Brazil being like almost on the verge of being on fire all the time, and like the people's personalities going along with it.
Yeah, it's somewhere between Super V8, Australian Super V8 racing, another great series.
Supercar, love Supercar.
V8 Supercar, and DTM. It's somewhere between those two. It's really
Honestly,
cool.
I was
There's actually a Brazilian touring car game on Steam.
I met that BMW M5 World Drift Record guy last week.
Yeah, I saw that.
Monday.
Yeah.
Super nice guy, and he races a factory prepared M235i touring car and like series in the United States. I'm like, I didn't know there were factory sponsored
What?
touring car races here.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's super cool.
Yeah, there's
And also BMWs dominate the fuck out of it.
SCCA and IMSA do it. It's
This must have been an IMSA race,
It was. I think it's actually the WeatherTech sports car series. Is what it is. I think.
He is sponsored by West Virginia University.
Oh.
And he went into it like, does anyone know why we're sponsored by West Virginia State University? And one of the persons said, because those are the people that discovered the Volkswagen Auto Group Dieselgate scam. So they're like, exactly correct. So they're sponsoring BMW.
That is fantastic.
That's awesome.
But
That's
no,
how I
it's
know people have a sense of
actually
humor.
our touring car racing is actually really cool because they're actually they're factory spec cars that are just prepared for racing, which is
Yep.
exactly what it should be.
Fun
Exactly.
sidebar: if you go into Buffalo Wild Wings, you can request to watch these races, and they'll put them on the TV for you.
They
Yes,
have the network.
we do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's nice.
yeah. I've
We
done
got
that
to
before.
watch F1 racing when they opened the one in Edina. We got like a free lunch, and they're the like big shot like I think owner of B
Yeah.
Dubs was there to see how it was going, and he's like,
Do
"Do you guys
Formula
want
1?
anything?" And then we're like, "That screen big?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he did it, and we got a giant screen of F1, and we're like, "Yeah."
Not only that, he goes, anything else? I'm like, I see you have NASCAR in that one. Can you put that on the smaller screen over there? He's like, yeah, sure, dude.
So like I don't think you could do it like on Sunday during
Oh, that's
football,
stunning.
but if
Right.
you go in like
Well, I mean,
you
that's
know,
one of the closest restaurants to my place of work currently before the Portillo's opens is Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
go there a fair bit with my coworker Ryan, which you guys met at the van show.
yeah,
Yeah.
he recognized
And
me by my
there's
voice,
never
which
anything-
was a strange.
He
thing.
recognized you, I think, mainly by your voices
Yeah.
first off.
Yeah.
Because the podcast, but
I can't recognize anybody by their voice.
Me neither.
I can. I pick voices
A
out
little
way
bit,
quicker
but
than I
like
do
I
faces.
couldn't hear it in like an open setting and be like,
Yeah.
"You're
No,
this
I can't
person."
fucking do that at
I
all.
hear it
I don't
and
think
I go,
there's any
"Oh."
like F1 going on in the middle of the day. I'm like, I never know. If there
That's
was,
not in the middle, not in the middle of the day, but that's when you get touring car.
because I go for
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah,
Touring
like,
car is
is
in the
there
middle of the day.
anything
It's on like a
going on that's
Wednesday or
car
something.
related that isn't NASCAR?
You-
Please put that up.
Yes.
Yeah. Fuck,
I'm
even
sure you could
NASCAR
do
I'll
that.
deal with.
No, I'd rather watch sports ball than NASCAR.
I think
I respect NASCAR drivers. I do.
I think we
It's
should
tough,
we,
but-
we should maybe not this episode, but an episode talk about like what is wrong with NASCAR and what they can fix, because NASCAR has entirely the ability to be really cool. Because if you ever go down to
and
like
what
Elko,
F1 is doing wrong that NASCAR is doing right
yes,
at the same time.
I think that's a good point. But like if you go down to like Elko and
I'm going
watch a
down on
NASCAR,
September 29th for the the Night of Destruction. If you guys want to go.
oh dude, Jana's not
What?
down, but I will.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm meeting some coworkers down there, so.
I will absolutely go there because I
What
love
night is it that
watching
I'm
that.
not here?
The 29th.
Oh,
the last
yeah.
week
Let me
in
double
I'm
check.
September.
digging.
Yeah, she's going on
Yeah,
archaeology.
it's
dig.
4:30 to 9:30 p.m. right after the podcast, or we could do a
Perfect.
podcast from there.
That'd be perfect. And what's actually really cool about that is I'm actually going to a concert right after that. So let's make it happen.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
I am super about that
Yeah.
because there is nothing more fun than watching what NASCAR should be, and that is going down to Elko and watching some like three-tooth rednecks
Yep.
race around their shitbox G-body,
Yep.
going like 75 miles an hour on some junkyard tires.
Yep.
That's exactly what it should be.
I kind of want to like
so excited.
I want to trailer the E down there and do like spectator racing with it, but at the same
Yes.
time, cars get hit all the time down there, and I don't want to deal
Oh
with that.
yeah.
You can't do the E, but you could take because it's Brexit.
No, I won't be doing that.
We need to get you like a Fiero with like a rotary in it or something,
Or just put the K series and tune it up a bunch in the Brexit, and then just enjoy that car.
or another car. Anyway, I think we've taken enough of our listeners' time today. We've done an hour and a half almost.
Yeah,
So-
that's fine though, since we're not giving them a
I
Wednesday.
guess that is true. We should
I'm just gonna
probably
mark these
cut it off
as-
on that.
Yep, that's fine.
Let's see. Is there anything else I want to add? Interesting. How about let's do a quick interesting engineering. I want to talk about this one because I'm actually writing an article about
Okay.
this
Sure.
on the MotorCult website, which will be going live sometime before I die. I want to talk about Gaston de Casalou Lambau. Is that how you pronounce that?
Gaston de Chasseloup-Lubon.
Thank you. I was pretty close for not speaking a word
bad.
of French.
Not bad.
This is the first person ever to have a land speed record in a vehicle, like a self-propelled vehicle.
Mhm.
So he did it like back like this is like 1888 or 1899, 1898. But he and this other count from Belgium were having this gentleman's dispute that reset the land speed record 7 times within 2 months of each other, and they actually were like,
Oh my god.
they spent
Two
like
separate people?
the 2 separate people that
Oh my
did this.
god.
But the way they were doing it was they both had electric horseless carriages, and you've seen what a horseless carriage looks like,
Yep.
like in a museum. Like they were going like 70 miles an hour with these, with no brakes and a tiller, and they were figuring out like aerodynamics. So they figured out like how aerodynamics works. They figured out that if they squat down, they would go a little bit faster. Then that led to them making like torpedo-shaped bodies on them. And eventually it was Gaston Casalou-Lubau. He was also called the Electric Count, which is a great name. But he was the first one to do a torpedoed body. But then this other Belgian count, Kamel Gentassi, he realized that if he took the body, instead of just having it be torpedo shaped, if he had it cover some of the suspension,
Yeah.
that it would make it faster. So he also invented the flat floor.
Okay.
Of race
Did he
cars.
also like put like the winglet shapes around like the suspension members or no?
No, he did not. These are. Here's a picture of what it looked like.
Oh, okay. That's way earlier than I thought.
No, I'm literally talking like this is 1888, 1899. Like, Camille Gentassi, he raced a Mercedes Simplex, which was like the first
Yep.
race car that looked like kind of what a race car vaguely should look like.
Yep.
So like this is how early we're talking.
I'm amazed there were even photographs of any quality.
Yeah, these are ones that he had to like stand there for like 30 seconds for that picture
I
to
think
be
it's
taken.
like 3 minutes. That's why nobody was ever smiling in old photographs because the
'Cause
exposure time
you
was
can't smile
multiple
for that long.
minutes.
Here, Jen, can you take this picture and show it to the camera so the people watching on YouTube? This is a little bit closer. This is what we're talking about when I say it's a torpedo shaped.
Yeah, that is
body.
literally like
It is-
it's probably the shell of a
It
torpedo.
literally looks like, I think it was like actually like it was 2 kegs with like a chimney top on each end.
Back in the day, kegs were wood.
I think that, well, you're right. It's like, but it's something that basically looks like
Okay.
that though. But yeah, it was.
It was probably military surplus one way or another.
Well, when they did that, it actually it worked shockingly because when they when they put those on, sorry, it was not. It started out, the very first speed record was 49 miles per hour. That
Okay.
was the Electric Count, Lambau.
Okay.
But by the time they had gone with these torpedo-shaped bodies, doing no other modifications to the engine.
Yeah.
Just like deciding on what they want to eat for breakfast, basically.
Which is nothing.
In the third land speed record was 65.79 miles per hour. To like, it was just like insanely fast. That like, if you think about it, 43 to 65 miles per hour, just from a different shape of the body.
Sure.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, you like look at all like the bicycling world records.
Yes. And
They're
these
not
were
just
also,
biking. They're like following a super aero car to eliminate wind resistance.
These guys also did this on vehicles that were originally designed to go like maybe 10.
Right.
So,
Lots of,
6.5
my buddy
times
Steve
the speed
Peterson
they're
just
supposed
bought
to.
a Series 1 Defender, and the thing maxes out at 35 miles an hour, and it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And it's
Imagine
awesome
this.
at the same time. Yeah.
65 miles per hour.
Yep, same
And
sort of deal.
they have a tiller.
Oh, yeah.
And the tiller
This
is
is a steering
designed,
wheel, but it's
yeah,
as precise as a tiller.
it's not really a steering wheel. It's literally a tiller. The steering wheel wasn't invented for another 5 years after the final one of these records were made. But the thing is, with the tiller, 90 degrees is full lock. So 90 degrees will turn the wheels like 45 degrees over.
Sure.
So if you turn that tiller,
It's a very fast ratio.
yeah, if you turn that tiller, too much, like if you turn that tiller 45 degrees,
And it doesn't center either.
It does not self-center. You have to physically hold
There
that.
wasn't any caster to help you out
Yeah,
there.
there's not.
back in the day.
There's no suspension at all. So these guys were like having this like tiller that is like very fast ratio, and
Is this why there was a increase of like children? Like,
yes,
just everybody's getting
Yeah.
pregnant.
Yeah.
Yep. The
balls.
the human ball size was just
Yeah.
exploding
Okay.
They're
through
like
automotive
fish.
racing.
They just spread their seed
I
through the area
I
around
dusted
them.
the cloud of sperm over
They would
them.
like fart a cloud of sperm that women would pick up, and that's what would happen.
Somehow they were modified to receive that.
Uh,
Anyway.
But anyway,
wow.
both Gentasi and the Electric Count died from basically this. The Electric Count got terminally ill, and Gentasi, if I'm not mistaken, I think had like kidney failure or something from like inducing a chemical on accident from one of these cars. So like they both died from this.
Whoops.
Like years later, but it was pretty funny. Like, it was like really good story. This should be turned into a movie at some
Or
point.
from developing the photos.
Basically.
From the
Yeah.
lead plate or whatever that was.
I feel like that should totally be a movie. Like that'd be a great movie.
They probably would be pretty
It'd be a
good,
really,
actually.
really good movie. It'd be super interesting, and you could honestly probably turn it into a good British comedy.
Let's just hire the Monty Python people.
Yeah.
And then
Like you
teach them how to drive.
You get like a dry British comedy, like not even Monty Python, but just like a solidly dry British comedy would be perfect for this.
I don't know if I could watch that.
I would totally watch it.
Dry comedy. I mean, I produce a lot of it.
Dude, haven't you ever seen like Best of Show or
Best in
Sideways?
Show?
No, Best of Show or
No,
Sideways.
I've seen Sideways. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, like that's what I mean by dry comedy. Something like Sideways. That'd be a great idea, like sort of comedy if somebody wanted to make this into a movie.
Mhm.
Anyway, well, thank you very much for listening to me talk about pre-war cars. Oh, that was, by the way, 1, 2, 3, because it was pre-war, pre-World War I, and even pre the Spanish Americans.
It's just
war.
pre everything, basically.
And also pre-steering wheel. So I think anything I talk about it doesn't have
Pre
a
steering
steer.
wheel's pre World War One, which is 2 dings.
That it was 3 dings because it's also pre like Spanish American War.
Anyway, on that bombshell, with not knowing how to dictate which pre-war is which war,
We should end the
we
show.
will
Thank
catch you next week. Thank you very much for listening.